The Gwaltney Group.
The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney. Gwaltney Group. RE/MAX results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I thought I'd schedule the radio show so you can sit down and relax for a few minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. You've been seeing my Facebook post. I literally have been getting home from work at like 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other night I got home at 7 and I was like, wow, I'm home pretty early tonight. Still light out. Well, then I got into multiple offers, coming in on one of my listings. So I was going back and forth between the seller and the two buyers, and nobody ever wants to wait until morning to wrap that up. You know, that's too much playing with people's minds, right? So we got that all taken care of, but then it was like 11. So yeah, it's been busy. It's definitely spring market, definitely feeling it. And I mean, I saw this coming. I'm not surprised. It has been a busy year.
Did it arrive a little earlier than you anticipated?
Well, we had such a mild winter. And if you remember back to some of those shows, I said I felt like that was a factor that played a part because, you know, normally if it's 30 below and wind chill and wind is blowing all over, snow, and no, nobody wants to go out looking at houses. It's like, heck, we'll stay snuggled in for a couple more months. But we had such a mild winter that I definitely feel like that played a part. And I mean, I think those people that did get out and buy their houses in January and February and they did listen and didn't have to compete. And man, I can even show you some purchase agreements I wrote where the sellers paid the closing costs for the buyer, or we got a few $1,000 off, 5,000 here, 10,000 there. We're not seeing that now.
You're back to cash offers and no inspections.
You got it. And
wow.
Full price for sure. Starting at full price for sure. And what's really sad is sometimes you know you're going to start at full price and you're still not going to stand a chance. And it's tough because, like, say we have a buyer and they're approved to $300,000. It's hard to say, well, we don't even want to look at the houses that are priced at $300,000 because they're going to sell for $310 or $320 or $330 or whatever. But we still look at them, and when we write an offer for $300, you're getting really lucky if you win that now. So
that's where you need that emotional connection to the seller, right?
Exactly. And
where they see you compassionately or something.
Exactly. And then maybe too, things just work out right. Like maybe they say, oh, you're coming in to be the new principal at the school that my kids grew up at or that I taught at for 30 years. I mean, sometimes there's just connections, or, oh, you're going to be doing your residency in the department that I did mine in, or we retired from, or you just never know. You know, sometimes there's just connections that matter, and some people it's not about the money, but oftentimes it's like the hardier the dollar sign, the stronger the offer. And often, and we have to be careful. We can write letters. We can write letters to the sellers. Some agents will not present them at all, which is unfortunate because I think the seller has the right to see them. But we really have to guide our buyers because sometimes they do cross fair housing rules. You can't talk about things like, this will be the perfect place for my children to grow up, because now you're, telling them that you have a family and you have children, and they could make a decision one way or the other, which would be, familial status as one of the protected classes. So you have to be careful in what you put in there. But again, if you're working with a good agent and you want to write a letter to the seller, and you can just write a letter about how immaculate the home is and how they took such great care of it and the pride of ownership shows, and we want you to know that we would love it just as much and take just as good care of it. So if you say things that you mean, I mean, I'm not telling you to blow smoke, but if that's the way you feel and you really mean that, then sure, I think sellers appreciate knowing that. So if you can write a letter without crossing the line, then by all means, I think it's a great way to help you win in multiple offers.
How about if I'm a military veteran? Because I'll tell you this much, I would put a lot of weight in that, I think. if somebody were to tell me their story of service to the country.
Yeah, and so, I think sometimes you can say things like, when I saw the flag in your front yard, it made me feel right at home. I mean, I just had this happen. Okay, so we had a listing and there was a American flag in the front yard, and the seller is a vet and the buyer is a young vet. And she, in her letter, she said something. She didn't know the seller was a vet. I mean, maybe she knew. Maybe she researched him and found out, because nothing's really too private these days.
No.
You can find out pretty much anything you want to know. But anyway, she wrote about how one of the things that she dreamt about when she got a home was to put a flagpole up and hang a flag, because she is in the military and she's very proud of herself, or, very proud of that. And I mean, I think that definitely, it was a multiple offer situation, and I definitely think that played a part.
Oh, nice. I like that. But you pointed out to me in the past that sometimes it works the other way for our veterans, because they're using their benefits.
Yes. And I get so upset about that. I just get so upset when they say, "Oh, Robin, your offer was so good, but it was a VA loan, and the other one that won was conventional." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now?" And I say, "Well, can you explain to me why?" I mean, I've also explained this. If a VA loan, because it's backed by the government, the appraisal is different, right? So they're looking for things that an appraiser at a conventional loan is not. So if I buy a house and I'm getting conventional financing, the bank could care less if the paint is chipped on the house or there's a cracked window, because they think, okay, that's up to her. She can fix that when she gets there. But with a VA loan, those things will make it not pass the inspection. So I can see if you've got a house that's in tough repair, and you think, okay, maybe this house isn't going to qualify for a VA loan. Maybe it's not going to pass the appraisal. I would be better off guiding my seller toward the conventional financing, and this is why. But when the house is in mint condition and there's not one reason why it wouldn't pass a VA appraisal with flying colors, and then the agent says to me, they just didn't like that VA financing. Oh, that is so frustrating to me.
Well, it's good we're talking about, because maybe people will recognize that whatever perception they have about the VA financing really isn't true.
Right, exactly. I mean, I've done a lot of VA financing. I mean, I'm not a lender, but I've had a lot of buyers that use VA financing with no problems whatsoever. So,
and it is a benefit. Earned by these people.
Service, yes, exactly. So please don't disregard that as a negative, or think that it's a weaker loan, because by no means is that the case.
So now that you're back into the multi-offer situations, is that almost like doing an auction?
Well, it can be. It just depends on how the seller wants to handle it. So I can tell you, I listed a house last week, and it was an expensive house. It was almost $1.5 million. And an offer came in that the sellers really liked, and they said, "Oh, perfect, we'll take it." And they hadn't signed it yet, because they were both at work, both very busy. They live out of state now. And by the time the afternoon came, I got a call from another agent saying, "Hey, I'm going to send you an offer." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, just to let you know, I have already sent an offer to the sellers, which they are signing." But I looked, and they hadn't signed it yet. So, of course, I'm working for the best interest of the seller, right? If I can get them a second offer and get people fighting over it, that's my job. So I said, don't sign it. There's another offer coming, so it could be better. And so then, of course, I called the first agent to say, "Hey, just to let you know, they hadn't gotten around to signing the offer yet. They're just getting home from work. They're on a different time zone. Can I please I just want to let you know, so that you can let your buyers know, that there is a second offer coming." Now, of course, I didn't share any terms of that offer, but he said, "Okay, I'm going to talk to my buyers." So then his buyers sent back a stronger offer. So, it raised up the offer, and the initial buyers did get it. And I think that in this case, the offers were in the end very similar, but I think the sellers felt like, oh, geez, we kind of gave them our word, told them we were going to sell it to them. We don't want to be those people. And so, again, just another factor. But it's not like they settled for less money because those buyers were smart and they raised up. So that second offer coming in just got the sellers more money, quite a bit more money.
And that happened on $1.5 million house that quickly. Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We're in a very, very good real estate market right now.
All right, Robin, we'll take a quick break, and we will return in just a moment. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9. To Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results. We're talking about just how busy things have gotten over the last few weeks in the Rochester area real estate market. It's impressive and fascinating to me at the same time.
Yes. Well, I was just looking at one of the articles that I had set aside for this week's show, and it's from the National Association of Realtors, and it's titled Contract Signings Reach a New High for 2024. And it says pending home sales kicked off the spring season with a strong start, but challenges of the home buying market remain, new NAR data shows. And so basically, the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, is forecasting existing home sales to increase by 9% in 2024 and then by another 13.2% in 2025. And they also are forecasting that housing starts, so new builds, will increase by 1.2% this year and about 5% next year. So home sales had lingered at a 30-year low since 70 million more Americans live in the country now compared to 3 decades ago. It's inconceivable to think about that, right? But it's inevitable that sales will rise in the coming years. Inventory will grow steadily from more home construction, and various life-changing events will require people to trade up, trade down, or move to another location. So that kind of brings me to, we've talked over the past several months about how a lot of people feel like, oh, I do not want to move. I am locked in at a really great rate, so I am staying put. This is where I'm going to stay because I know I'll never see 3% again, or I'll never see 3.5% again. So this is it. Well, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes the house just gets too darn small for you. Sometimes the house becomes too darn big for you. Sometimes something, a job or a family change or something takes you across the country, so it's just not in the right location. Sometimes marriages happen and it requires a new home. Sometimes divorces happen, so at least one party's moving out. Sometimes they sell it and both parties move on. So, there's always going to be those life changes that will move people. And even though the people that are locked in at the great rates still are hanging on, we're seeing more of the new buyers coming into the market who are saying, okay, so the rates are up a little bit, but they're not up that much. Well, they're not looking back to 20 or 21. They're looking back to this time last year. This time last year they were at about 6.4. Now they're at about 7%. So yeah, that seems like darn, they've gone up, but not like, oh, they used to only be 3% and now they're 7%.
Right.
So it's just, the object becomes further away in that rearview mirror, right? So it's easier to forget. So I think we're seeing a lot of that. And of course, inventory remains really tight, and that's why the multiple offer situation. So it's very odd and ironic that we would have high interest rates and yet high sales all at the same time. And it's all because of the low inventory.
But I will also add that historically, 7% is not that high.
Exactly. I actually saw something on Facebook the other day, and it was about, let's see, what did it say? The average interest rate, the average over the last 30 years was 6.48.
Yeah.
over the last 30 years. So we're just a slight tad bit higher than average right now if you're looking at the last 30 years.
And I bet we're pretty darn close to the mean, or we're below the mean, I bet.
Yes, I agree. So I'm excited to see that I have a couple more articles in my stack that are also pointing fingers saying that new home sales will be climbing. There'll be more and more new construction. I mean, when I got into the business, my gosh, new homes were everywhere. Every good realtor had a builder to rep, and every good builder was putting models out there so that they could get people in, buy the models, and sell more houses. So we always had builders and new construction, that we could sit in and host on open houses on the weekends and meet buyers. And boy, it is tough to find any models anywhere, because as soon as they start building them, somebody comes in and wants to, buy it and then pick everything out, which the builders love.
I think we're also going to see, we're not already seeing it, some innovation by these builders.
Oh, yeah.
To address their higher costs, to try to figure out a way, and you have pointed out their margins have changed too. They're accepting a lower margin on the deal.
Sure. And also I feel like, we've seen things like what they'll do is instead of lowering the price, which might not be the answer, they'll do like a buy down on the mortgage rate. So for the next, they'll do a 3-1 buy down or a 2-1 buy down. So the next 3 years, the next 2 years, your payment's going to be lower. And maybe that's going to help you adjust to, then my school loans will be paid off. Or by that time, I will have gotten a raise, or I will have finished graduate school. And so my new position will be this. So it gives you a little adjustment period so that you can get into that house before the prices go up for 2 or 3 more years worth. And then just get a payment that would be a little easier to swallow for those first couple of years, and then work your way into the final payment. So there are some creative ways for sure. There's, the old saying, where there's a will, there is a way.
And I see the city of Rochester, the city council meeting on Monday is a study session, I think, and they're going to be, that was last week, actually. That was last week's meeting where they approved these incentives now to try to lower the starter house, the brand new starter house cost.
Nice.
By, waiving some of the fees.
Yes.
In certain situations, so the builders can pass along those savings. They can do it for, I think they're saying, upper 2s maybe.
Nice. That would be so awesome. For real.
Those will get gobbled up immediately.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You just think of this. Think of the $300 85-inch TV at Walmart on Black Friday. Okay? It'll look something like that.
Yeah, big lines.
Yeah, people will be mowing each other over to get those babies.
Well, why don't we take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results. It's News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96 Council. Welcome back to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results. Robin, earlier you were talking about, I think it was the National Association of Realtors, one of them, a projection on sales increases. What was that percentage that you were talking about?
So according to this article, it says the pending home sales have increased 3.5% from February to March, and another 1% between March and April. And NAR is forecasting a 9% increase in sales this year. So
wow.
I'll tell you, I'll share on a more personal level. Our team through the end of April this year is up. Now we had a really good year last year. Okay. And we're up 58% year over year.
Wow.
So we are just really, really busy. And I love the energy around here because everybody is just really working hard. And, we set ourselves apart because I'll see different agents say, yeah, I I shut my phone off at 6 p.m. or I don't work on Sundays. And it boggles my mind. And I'm not judging them. They have the right to do whatever they want to do. But I have always seen this job as a service industry. And so when do we serve our clients? We serve them when it's convenient for them. So that's when they're not working. So that is oftentimes evenings and weekends. So we embrace that, and we all, plan on Saturday and Sunday to be two of our busiest days of the week. And lately it's more like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. With maybe a little bit of a lull on Monday and Tuesday, but we're not complaining. Like, the energy is awesome around here. So I know we talked about this last week, but we did 100 transactions through the first 100 days of the year.
Right.
And that's our goal, to just stay on pace for a deal a day. So we're not sitting around. We're getting stuff done.
I bet you're besting that one per day right now, the way things have been going.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. Like, after the weekend, we'll probably jump ahead a little bit. And I think, I have 2 offers to write right now. So, we're staying on target. I can tell you that. And
the one thing,
pretty proud of that.
With doing this show with you every Saturday for the past, I don't know how many years it's been, 4 years. How many
years has it been? 4? It's been a while.
Well, it was well before the pandemic, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so yeah, more than 4.
Yeah.
5, 6. I did it before with, oh my gosh, my dear sweet friend. Tell me his name.
Rich Peterson.
Rich Peterson. And I told the radio station, I don't even want to do this show anymore after Rich is gone because I won't like doing it with anybody else. So awesome. And boy, I've had to eat my words more than once because I have thoroughly enjoyed doing this show with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But Rich became a client of mine. Recently I sold his home.
We all do eventually, right?
Yeah, it was fun to reconnect with Rich. It was really awesome. And it was also fun to know that he still listens to the show. So,
yeah, you better, right?
Exactly.
We all have to glue our dial in the same place when we go to work here. That's part of the rules. But my comment was going to be that the discussion of commissions and everything else. What I've learned from all these years talking to you and your team, that how much goes into this whole transaction and how much is happening behind the scenes. And that's why you pay that commission.
Yeah. And a lot of, everybody has a different level of marketing as well when it comes to selling houses. And I actually come from the mindset that it takes money to make money. And when somebody hires me to sell their house, I take that on as a very serious assignment, right? And of course that means things like professional photography and professional staging and sometimes getting in a handyman to get some things done that they need. There's a lot that comes with it, right? Helping them get their house prepared for the market, giving them advice on which, I've been out shopping with clients, helping them pick out new paint colors or new carpet. It's like, we take that whole thing very seriously. And we're always willing to, I feel, go the extra mile and just do more than others are willing to do. People say, oh my gosh, your pictures are so great. Do you take them? No, I don't take them. I pay several $100s for a professional to take them because I'm being hired to market a property, right? And it's crazy. Sometimes I'll look at a listing, and it's not always low priced listings, but I'll look at a listing online and the agent has actually taken the photos with their own iPhone, and sometimes you'll even catch a picture of the agent in the mirror, holding the iPhone up to take a photo. I'm like, oh my goodness. So,
I've seen those pictures.
We're not all the same. There's a lot of good realtors out there, and there's some that, aren't as good. That's all I will say.
Well, I've appreciated the examples of full service that I've heard over these years. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Now, do you have any listings, Robin?
I do. Let's see. What do I have that I want to talk about? So, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, we had some townhomes being built out there behind the mink farm.
Yep.
And then that thing just kind of paused for a while, and now we've got some more. So there's 2 more units to sell, and then there's 2 more that are going to be close to being ready to sell. And those are nice 1-level, 0 entry, no steps, big 2-car garage, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Excuse me. They have, just about 1,650 square feet, and beautiful. And they are $479,900. So there's 2 that are ready to go and 2 more that'll be ready within weeks. So we've got those. We've got a townhome that we just listed out in Stewartville. It's 18. Oh, those ones I spoke about are on Piccadilly Lane. So
right.
885 and 889 Piccadilly Lane Northwest.
That's by Essex Park, that area.
Yes, correct. 1819 Daniel Lane Northeast is a nice 2-bed, 2-bath townhome, 2-story out in Stewartville. It was built in 2005, and that is listed. It's got a 1-stall garage. It's listed for $239,900. We've got a couple of new ones out in Orinoco, actually. Just one of them went on yesterday, and I think one comes on today. 1106th Lane Northeast in Orinoco is 4 beds, 2 baths, 2,623 square feet, has a 2-car garage. It was built in 1988, and that one is $529,900. And then the other one in Orinoco is 315 Pine Ridge Court Southwest. It's a contemporary home. The owners have just done some fabulous things to it. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, and that one is 2,140 square feet, and it is $539,900. That one was built in 1983 and sits on 2 acres. So those 2 beauties in Orinoco, the one that we had last week in Orinoco sold last week. So, maybe Orinoco's the new hot spot.
I think everything's becoming the hot spot.
Everything's becoming the hot spot. We've got a beautiful 2-story at 1889 Shannon Oaks Boulevard up in Northeast. That's a 4-bed, 4-bath, 3,200 square foot house with a 3-car garage. It was built in 2008, but you would never know that because the current owners have redone it completely. And I mean, they replaced the windows. They replaced the siding. They added maintenance-free decking to the front and the back. They put on a new roof. The house, it's just a whole new house. It's beautiful. You drive by and it looks like a brand new house. But the inside is also gorgeous. She's done really elaborate closet organization in all the closets. So if you're looking for a nice big 2-story for $680 in the Northeast, you might want to get to that one. It sits on a 1/2-acre lot. I call that a realtor's dream because they take so much pride in ownership and it just presents really well. I've got one here at 5110 Lehman Lane Northwest. It's a 5-bed, 4-bath, 4,078 square feet. It was built in 1999, had a recent price reduction, so it's $550. It is a whole lot of house. Over 4,000 square feet for $550,000 over near the.
Wow, that is big.
Yeah, it's really big. It's nice. If you want to go over to Wabasha, I've got a couple of nice listings over there. There's 1006 Jefferson Avenue in Wabasha, which is 3 beds, 1 bath. It's a total of 1,200 square feet. It's listed for $269,900. It does have a tuck under 2-car garage, but then in addition to that, it has a nice big shed. The previous owner worked on cars out there. It's a really nice place. We have some land at XXXX Rocky Creek Drive Northeast. So it's off Broadway. You know where that is. $1,200,000. So if you have some kind of a idea for I don't know what you want to put over there.
That's right by Velocity.
It is. Yep. Definitely is. We have out in the country in Wabasha, down on the prairie as we call it, 65972 143rd Avenue, and that's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 3-car garage. Sits on just under 2 acres, and that one's $349,900. And then if you're looking for in the city in that same price range, we just have an immaculate, just beautiful multi-level that is 3 beds, 3 baths. It has a 2-car garage. It was built in 1972, but again, you'd never guess it. One owner home that's really taken a lot of pride in their home. And it has a attached extra space that she had used as a beauty salon, but there's lots of good ideas. I've heard somebody say it would make a great in-home daycare or just like a grand pad for, you know, mom or dad to come and stay with you as they age because it's got its own bathroom and the door enters into the kitchen of the house. So, I don't know, really nice. Actually, we did have a person who wanted that, but it was contingent upon them getting their home sold, and then they never got their home sold, and they got frustrated in another state. So I don't know anything about their market. But anyway, so that one's available if anybody's looking for that. So yeah, that's what we've got.
You've got plenty. How do we get a hold of Robin? If we want to talk about any of the real estate issues we've talked about, or you're ready to sell or buy.
Yeah, and guess what? Let me add one more thing. If you're ready to sell or buy anywhere in the entire country, because I can help you. I have got great connections everywhere. But whatever I can do for you, please feel free to call me on my cell phone, and that number is 507-259-4926.
Fantastic, Robin. Great to talk to you again, and we'll catch up next week.
Sounds great.
All right. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE Results on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.